number one feature everyone wants, better battery life.
In the meantime though, what do? People gotta want these products.
But I think no one expected this impact to be so big. 22 billion.
A lot of money.
Google is paying Apple a lot of money.
It's about this one feature of the iPhone 16 Pro. Hello everyone, welcome to PhoneArena show. Once again, episode 13. We're still counting them. Hi Vic, how are you?
Rad, good,
how are
good.
you today?
Happy to be on this very symbolic 13th episode of the PhoneArena show.
We have a bunch of interesting topics for today. As usual, guys, we have a lot of interesting things happened over the last week. The first one was Apple's fiscal quarter 3 results. We're going to talk about that and also about the new bombshell report.
Ooh.
Pretty much every report on the PhoneArena is like a bombshell report.
Yeah, but especially this one.
Especially this one is like the mother lode of bombshell reports.
It's about the iPhone 16. It's about one specific iPhone 16 models, but we'll talk about this later.
We'll talk about some very important, critical is happening with the iPhone 16, one of the models. And then we also have our review of the Galaxy Watch Ultra.
Is this orange guy here?
On Vic's hand here. It is, very special watch, very interesting. Looks so big and so complicated. Very interesting, very divisive watch.
Very ultra.
Very ultra watch. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. A lot of contradiction there. Alrighty, so before we begin, guys, if you enjoyed this show, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We need your help. Comment under the video. That's going to be very, very much appreciated. So without further ado, let's begin with the big topic for today, which is Apple's fiscal quarter 3 results. And nobody expected that. Seems like it. Seems like I think analysts believed worst type of performance out of Apple. And once again, I don't know how they do it. They always seem to have like a one up on the financial analysts.
They keep on surprising us, and this time around it was let's call it a half surprise, because we knew that we had new iPad models launching earlier in this quarter, so we knew they would have an impact, but I think no one expected this impact to be so big. So let's just reveal the big news is that the iPad category that everyone says it's kind of iPad is a dying breed. It's not as popular these days. But this last quarter, plus 24% growth in revenue for the iPad category for Apple, which is big change. In the past few quarters, they were going down. But there are reasons behind that.
Yeah.
And they're pretty logical ones. Basically, Apple did not release any new iPads for the whole of 2023, so we were waiting for these upgrades impatiently.
Which was like the first year in iPad history that didn't see a new model.
Right, for the first time in history, 2023, no
and boom,
models.
20+% down on the sales.
And now this growth is, it's unexpected, and it was something that Tim Cook also mentioned at the quarterly call, mentioning specifically the iPad Pro and the iPad Air. So basically, these are the two devices that are growing the sales. We don't know the exact specifics. Is it the iPad Air that's doing more, or is it the iPad Pro? But the iPad Air was kind of mentioned first. So maybe if you read into it, it might have been the iPad Air that is contributing to this growth. And it's the more affordable device, so it makes sense, even though the iPad Pro is more powerful.
So do you think it was like, everybody was like, oh, I so love the new iPad Pros, so thin, so powerful, great OLED displays, M4 processor, but man, that's expensive. I might as well get the iPad Air with the M2. It's not really that much worse.
Well, it's,
Still great.
yeah, and you have the bigger size iPad Air finally. And it seems many
Yeah.
people use them as laptop replacement, so you can use it with a keyboard. The bigger size works much better if you use it as a laptop replacement. So that might be the case. I don't know. I don't know. I think the iPad Pro is quite exciting, but definitely very expensive also. So it's good for Apple that they have this cheaper option in the iPad Air. And one other model, the base iPad, got its price dropped significantly. So it's now way more affordable. So
And the
that
base iPad is the iPad 10 generation, right?
exactly, yeah. We're still waiting for the upgrade to that.
Yeah.
So it's not a new model, it's the old model, but it's got a lower price. So that also contributed to the sales performance, obviously. Yeah, so this was part of the story, the iPad.
Yeah. And overall, it was like what 5% increase for Apple across the board year on year, correct?
Okay, yeah.
And that I think was a record third fiscal quarter for Apple, which is traditionally among the like quieter
Yeah.
quarters for Apple as well. And by the way, guys, don't get confused. Like because we say quarter three, they do not overlap with
Right, right. Yeah.
normal quarters in the year.
Yeah, so this is the kind of the spring quarter from April until June. Yeah.
It ends on at the end of June.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe.
So it's the spring quarter, we can
Yeah.
call it. But yeah, otherwise, in terms of iPhone sales, things are pretty much flat.
Yeah.
Same on the Mac front. And then you have something interesting, which is the Apple services category, which keeps on surprising I think the whole industry because it is growing so steadily, so smoothly, and we see this growth, it just never ends. Apple just keeps on making lots and lots of money on services and growing it very consistently. Were you surprised by that? What do you think about Apple services? Like,
I don't know if I'm surprised, although what's interesting is, by the way, some great analysis at our friends over at Six Colors, I believe. So maybe we can show some of the charts just to illustrate. Those guys have done tremendously beautiful charts illustrating this, the historical performance of Apple. And so when it comes to the iPhone releases, the Mac release, the iPad releases, historically you can see great peaks and dips, right? Based on when they release new products.
yeah,
So it's
you have the holiday quarter always goes up.
exactly
New
yeah.
iPhones. Yeah.
With the services division,
Yeah.
you don't get to see any pronounced peaks or dips. It's way more stable and predictive curve as it seems, and it's, as you said, it's growing and growing.
Yeah.
And so this quarter was a record quarter for the services division. So that's just something very, very interesting about the services division. I believe it's mostly like, and by the way, when it says services, maybe we should define a little bit of what that means.
Definitely, yeah, that's a good idea.
So it has the services that everybody uses, like the music, TV Plus, all that kind of good stuff. But it also has the iCloud, it has the licensing agreements, mostly I guess with Google that Apple has for the search engine on the iPhone.
Google is paying Apple a lot of money.
A lot of money on the services. And then what else? What else is included into services?
Oh, of course, you have the Apple Store tax. That's
The
also,
Apple Store,
yeah.
huge part of that.
Right.
Apple Care. So all of these services go into the so-called services category. And it's so amazing because companies love this, just predictable, stable revenue. That is why most of them are switching to subscription-based business models, because you can predict more or less. You can predict your revenue. It's not so episodic. It's not so seasonal.
Yeah.
So it's because month after month after month after quarter, of course, it's gonna fluctuate a little bit, but not all of your subscribers are gonna drop in
Yeah.
a single month,
Yeah.
right? And that is why I guess we're seeing some other companies unexpectedly try to move on to the subscription model,
Some very strange companies, I should
such
say.
as your favorite.
Oh, did you hear about the Logitech Forever mouse? This was hilarious.
It's a good idea. Wow.
Oh, this is hilarious. Logitech wants to, obviously, less people are buying desktop computers, less people need mice. or mouses, whatever the plural is. And so basically Logitech figured out we have to keep on making money somehow, and they floated the idea of this so-called forever mouse, which is supposed to be kind of a subscription mouse, which is just hilarious. Like all of my mouses
It is hilarious.
are forever mouses. I've never had a mouse break on me. So, but
You're not a hardcore like gamer, heavy user who
that's true.
exploiting the switches
No, I'm not. I'm not.
heavily. Yeah,
But maybe for some people, this
but
would
your
be a good-
IPM is pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I wanted to go back to the services division for Apple, and I got a riddle for you because probably you know when we talk about the hardware division for Apple, the profit margin is usually high 30s, 36%, 37%,
not
sometimes,
low.
which is very good for a hardware division. But yeah, but for services, it's a bit higher. Can you guess the profit margin for services for Apple?
Just a little bit higher. So with I would guess that with every software type of product, like
Yeah.
you're getting way higher margins.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe it's, and a lot of things go into services again. So I guess there's variance there, but
Yeah, that's the kind of the
I don't know,
average.
maybe between, because you're asking, it's probably very high. So it's maybe between 60-70%.
Oh, very close. Good guess. It's 72% over the last 3 years.
Okay.
Oh, that's a crazy number. So Apple must be very happy, and obviously they're doing also good work with Apple TV and the others. But yeah, it's a very high profit margin for services.
And it seems like that, because here's the breakdown on Apple. Like you got iPhone, which is close to half of the company
Yeah,
in terms of business,
in terms of revenue, we
in
should say.
terms of revenue, right? And then all the other product categories are around 8 to 9%, somewhere there.
Right.
Sub 10% of the business. And then the only thing that comes close is the services division, which is, it's not a division, I guess, it's just, let's call it the services products.
Yeah,
They're like 20 something percent.
right.
So it's way more profitable. At
Now,
this
now we
point.
can probably show a chart right here showing
Yeah.
the revenue breakdown. But I have another chart that I want to show right next to it, which is the profit chart. And when you take a look at the revenue chart and now take a look at the profit chart, you will see something very interesting because for the first time, like you see that these two lines, so you basically have hardware and services, they're kind of growing closer and closer. And this time they're almost, so maybe in the next few quarters, for the first time, services will deliver more profits than hardware for Apple. So this is coming very soon. And this, for many people, this is unexpected. We all know Apple is a hardware company. It's making iPhones, iPads. We still don't think about it as a services company, but it very much is becoming that.
But my take is it will never be, because if Apple stops making products tomorrow, like hardware, iPhones, computers, they stop making them, why would you subscribe to their services?
Yeah, that's true. The hardware business is kind of the base layer that you need to have in order to build this service.
And it has to be great. It has to be like, people gotta want these products. It's not so.
But yeah, just to give you the number, this quarter Apple made 22 billion in profit from products and 18 billion from services. So very close in terms of those numbers.
Yeah. And again, a lot of analysts out there, guys, on the Apple financial numbers from the third fiscal quarter. Again, huge credit to the folks at Six Colors. Again, I think they did a great job. We're going to put the link to their report in the description.
Yeah, I wanted also to mention the wearables category for Apple because this one is interesting. It's not growing as fast as some may hope.
It's a sad category.
It's a sad category. That's true. That's true.
Sad.
And in this category, of course, you have the Apple Watch, you have AirPods, and you also have the big new product, the Apple Vision Pro. So this is a bit of a revelation because we don't know how the Apple Vision Pro is going in terms of numbers. We don't have the numbers just for the Vision Pro. Tim Cook is opening his remarks on the Apple Quarter with the Apple Vision Pro again. So the company is still heavily invested in marketing this unique experience, but it just seems that the revenue and the profits are still not there. And a very interesting tidbit on the Apple Vision Pro is that Tim Cook mentioned that it is very popular with enterprise.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything specifically about consumers, but obviously the drift is that, yeah, it's popular specifically for enterprise, which is a bit surprising because that's not the way Apple necessarily wanted it to grow. So yeah,
Probably, yeah.
I wanted to mention this about the Vision Pro.
Yeah, actually, like this whole wearables category is a bit down year on year. Maybe a couple of percentage points, but
yeah,
slightly down. Yeah. Anyway, VR, AR stuff still down the line potentially. Not here yet. Alrighty, and you talked about the iPad performance again. Last year was a rather of a big dip in performance, and that potentially because of the lack of any new releases, any news on the iPad front. And so this year, one big argument for the great performance, that kind of return to revenue of what, 7 billion, around that. And they have the new models, but also people believe that it's partly because of renewed enthusiasm for Apple's product lines, including riding on the AI wave for the Apple Intelligence, which is coming down the line. And now everybody knows that Apple Intelligence is coming soon.
It's the big topic.
It's a
certainly.
big topic, obviously. It's like among the bigger changes down to Apple's platform for a lot of time. I mean, and they do it across the board. Each and every platform is going to get it pretty much exactly the same time.
Right.
So it's a huge change. And so people believe that Apple Intelligence also has a little bit to do with the great performance of the iPad division. And on that note, what do we have? We have iOS 18.1.
Right now in developer beta.
Developer beta, which means most of you guys watching should not install it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we did it because we're experts at that.
I think most of the tech world is really interested, and it's a first for Apple to kind of roll things in this way. So rolling out a developer beta 18.1 so early is unusual for Apple, but it kind of wanted to give developers extra time to get acquainted with the new features, and I guess that's why they're doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they, as expected, they still don't have the big ones like the reworked Siri, for example, which everyone seems to be anticipating, but it's gonna come later. So we have the basic features. The writing tools are here. The email, priority email summarizer. We have call transcription as well. So a lot of these, your standard AI features that we perhaps already seen on some other brands out there, like Samsung is very aggressive with the AI as well, so it has most of these in some form. So these are available in the beta. By the way, go to PhoneArena.com for the full preview and first-hand experience with the iOS 18.1 dev beta. We have first-hand observations there of how it runs and what it offers right now. So yeah, it's here. It's coming.
It's here, and it's very interesting at the conference call right after the quarterly results. Most of the questions about the future of Apple were around Apple Intelligence. What's happening there? What will the rollout look like? And it seems that Apple has announced a timeline. It's clear that Apple Intelligence is going to be a staggered rollout, so we're not going to get all of the features all at once. They're going to come in stages, but people are still curious, how is that happening? It seems that right now the iPhone 16 at launch will not have all of the Apple Intelligence features, and even those if any, even the first ones might come a month after the launch in October. So there is that. But my personal first impressions with Apple AI, is it's very hyped up to be like this huge change in the way Apple treats software, but right now it's not all that huge. Like you see some very minimal changes that are nice, but even like the summary feature, it's quite similar to what we already have. Like it's not such a game changer, especially if you see the Apple stock price. You can see that the moment Apple starts talking about AI at WWDC, the stock price starts going up. And it's hard to justify that right now. It's obviously has a lot to do with the future more than with the present. So that's what I'm saying. Apple AI surely sounds very exciting, but just don't expect it to be as exciting as you hope on day one.
Yeah. Pretty much. And as with some other things that Apple is doing right now, it's more about the future than the present, like AKA Vision Pro.
Yeah.
For sure. But all of these news actually make me think that the future looks bright for Apple at this point in time, at least. I mean, the Vision Pro wasn't the huge success that maybe we expected. I don't know if we expected for it to be a huge success, but for sure we expected a bigger, splash upon arrival.
Definitely.
But now it seems like, okay, so maybe it's not even going to be next year. It's probably going to be like 2, 3, 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think that if Apple, isn't it funny how relatively soon after that we start hearing renewed rumors and renewed talk of, well, maybe a foldable iPhone is coming, maybe not next year, but maybe in 2 years it's here. Like, I feel like, I don't know if I'm imagining it, but I feel like I've seen more iPhone foldable rumors in the last, I don't know, couple of months.
Yeah, definitely.
Way more than before that. So it seems to me that there's probably some sort of a shift happening right now and a quick pivot, at least for the short term, that Apple is maybe thinking, okay, so Vision Pro is good. They're not going to cancel or abandoning the whole lineup and the whole AR, VR technology. They've already invested so much in that, and who knows? It's a logical continuation. Probably going to blow up at some point, but maybe 5 to 10 years down.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, what do we do? What do we do? So it's probably the foldable iPhone.
Yeah.
Coming
Or
soon.
should we say the flippable iPhone?
Yeah, which is going to be sad, but yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing lots of rumors, lots of reports in the past couple of weeks specifically about a timeline and two specific models. One is the iPhone Flip, and the other is not an iPhone.
Yeah.
So, but about the iPhone, it's obviously going to be like a clamshell flip phone. We've talked about this before, but we're just seeing more reports confirming that it's coming in 2 years' time. So that will be 2026. Yeah, I'm not terribly excited about the flip iPhone, but
me neither.
yeah, I would be more excited about the book style folding.
That's because me and you are pros.
Oh, okay.
For the average users out there, it's the flippables.
The flippables are more popular. They're
more
getting
popular.
more sales, definitely.
Or maybe Apple just doesn't want to go with 2,500 price tag out at gate.
Ooh, that's a good point. And the other one is that probably iPhone users, some of them we know are very fond of the idea of a mini iPhone. So if you get a flip iPhone, you're kind of getting a mini iPhone in a way.
Here's your mini iPhone.
And the mini iPhone would typically cost less. A flip iPhone wouldn't cost as low.
It's gonna cost more.
It's gonna cost more than an iPhone mini.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's probably a win-win move for Apple. But I would guess that it would be a niche device. It's not gonna be like the future of the iPhone right away.
I think it's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Well,
People
we'll
just
see.
want new, fresh stuff from Apple,
Okay.
and they're gonna get it with the foldables and flip. Makes sense for the flippable to come first, I think.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, it looks more like a normal iPhone.
Yeah.
It's a more familiar form factor. to most people, the flip phone.
Yeah, definitely. And many people still
probably-
have fond feelings about the Razr phones of the past.
It's a smoother transition.
Yeah.
Alrighty, yeah, that was Apple and their foray into the fourth fiscal quarter, where, by the way, they expect similar type of growth. So
Okay.
the trend's probably going to continue. But there's one point we didn't hit around the iPads,
Oh.
and that was about this special tablet.
Oh, yeah. Let's
This
talk about
one
that.
special tablet.
Let's talk about that because I played with this tablet recently, and it shows like you look at tablets in general and you see they're all the same in the past few years. They're getting much thinner. Okay, I'll give you that. They're getting much thinner, more powerful. That's cool. But this tablet is very specific. It's made by a company that is not your first go-to name for tablets, but they release lots of tablets too. The company is Lenovo, and it's the Lenovo Tab Plus, which is basically an Android tablet that is not too expensive, but it is focused on music lovers. And in person, the design is very different. It has an integrated kickstand, a metal back. It feels very sturdy, very well made. And I just love the idea of a kickstand on a tablet. Why don't we have a kickstand on tablets more often? Like, this should be a feature. I think, of course, Microsoft Surface tablets are doing the hinge, which is fine, but Samsung and Apple, please step it up. But the main thing here is the music. This tablet has 8 speakers, which is a lot, and it sounds like a Bluetooth speaker. It sounds amazing. You can find the review over at PhoneArena.com. You can check out the design. It has this cool look, slightly different. It's not a flat back. There's kind of a slight bulge where the kickstand is. But yeah.
I guess where most of the speakers go.
I guess the speakers probably go there. Maybe a slightly larger battery, also. But it's a different tablet just because of these music capabilities, and it's really the jump in quality from these 8 speakers is amazing. It's you don't need a Bluetooth speaker with that, and I think that's something that Apple and Samsung and the other big names should consider, adding just downright amazing speakers on their tablet. I know, okay, Apple is going for ultra slim, but I really didn't mind the thickness of the Lenovo Tab Plus. Of course, it's a thicker tablet, but I didn't mind. It's not the most powerful tablet in the world. Don't expect this one to be your laptop replacement. It runs on a MediaTek chipset. It costs around $300. You'll find a link to our review below here in the description. But yeah, I just wanted to point this out. Check it out, the Lenovo Tab Plus, just a different product. You may enjoy it.
Solid product, solid tablet for a great price actually. A lot of benefits that come with that tablet. So if you're not so, I don't know, locked up in Apple's ecosystem and you're looking for a tablet, the Galaxy Tab is not the only option.
Right. Yeah.
By far, you can check out this Lenovo. And by the way, from the engagement and interest we're seeing from readers into these Lenovo tablets on a consistent basis, it's actually pretty high. So it seems like people are paying attention to what Lenovo is doing with its tablets.
Yeah, definitely.
And that brings us to our second point for today, which is, surprise, surprise, iPhone 16 Pro, guys. But I tried to, put this into the bench, but Vic dropped the bombshell report this week. So I don't know. Yeah, we had to feature it. It's about this one feature of the iPhone 16 Pro.
Yeah. So basically, let's start with some history of rumors, because we've seen iPhone 16 rumors for months now, of course, and probably the most exciting change in the iPhone 16 Pro lineup is the change in size. So basically you have the Pro model, which is the smaller model, and then you have the Pro Max, the bigger one. And these used to be, right now, in the 15 lineup, these are 6.1 inches for the small model and 6.7 for the big one. And the rumor is they're going to 6.3 inches for the small one and 6.9 inches for the Pro Max. So bigger sizes. And of course, you expect with bigger sizes, the number one feature everyone wants, better battery life.
Always, always.
Yeah, but initial rumors claim that specifically for the smaller Pro model, the iPhone 16 Pro, the battery life was not gonna be much better, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
This past week, big account on Chinese social network Weibo claims the opposite. So it seems they got some internal information, but it's a big, pretty reliable account. So we can put some weight into and trust into this report. And it seems that the iPhone 16 Pro might get a nearly 10% bigger battery, which is big news. It's much for me. This is great. I love compact phones, but I'm always disappointed by the battery life. And this gives you have of course a new chipset which will be more power efficient hopefully, and you have a 10% larger battery. If this indeed happens, this will be great news for the iPhone 16 Pro, and it will, I'm sure, drive sales up for Apple. So the exact number is the iPhone 15 Pro currently has a 3,274 milliamp hour battery. The new model will have a 3,577 milliamp hour battery, which is again an increase of 9.2%. And this is actually the biggest increase in the whole series of all four models. This iPhone 16 Pro is getting the biggest increase. The Pro Max is gonna get a battery that is nearly 6% larger, which is again a nice increase. But then interestingly, you look at the battery sizes for the regular model and the Plus model, and specifically the Plus model, something interesting is happening because rumors claim it's gonna have a much smaller battery, nearly 9% smaller.
And we've been hearing about that for a while now.
Yeah.
And still nobody's like denying it or suggesting a different a different outcome for the Plus model. So it seems real.
It seems real. It doesn't make any sense. Except if you're Apple and you want to just kind of make the gap between the Plus and the Pro Max models bigger. That's what you do. You give the Pro Max model a much better battery life. But I don't know how Apple is going to market this. Probably this will mean the Plus model will be lighter. So maybe that.
Or
remind
me of that. So the 15 Pro,
okay,
the Pro Max, they have the A17 Pro chip.
That's true, yeah.
And then the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus had the
A17 regular, non-Pro.
A16 Bionic.
Maybe.
I think so. Let me check that real quick because it's important. I'll tell you why it's important. So iPhone 15 Plus chipset.
You're right. It's A16 Bionic, yeah.
Okay, and so what's the process here? It's 4 nanometer. It's a 4 nanometer process chipset.
Yeah.
And then the A17 Pro was 3 nanometers, right?
Yeah.
So here's where it gets interesting. So if you're Apple, you do this. You do not nerf or you do not decrease the battery life on the Plus, right? But you decrease the capacity, fine. Maybe you need it for something else. And you also put the new chip, which is going to be the A17 Pro, for example, or even, I think the rumors call for A18 something. So maybe they'll have an even newer process. It's still going to be 3 nanometers, but I think it's a new type of new addition, the process. So it's going to be probably even more efficient. So you put the more efficient processor in, and so users get the same battery life as with the iPhone 15 Plus. Well, the 16 Plus, smaller battery, gives you the same battery life. Nobody's offended.
Okay.
But
hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I try to look on the bright side of things. Yeah. You know? The silver lining.
Yeah, but this is like this is pretty much what we had in terms of iPhone 16 rumors, all about battery life this past week. Let's see what happens. It will be interesting to see if the new 16 models get or the new 16 Pro models get much better battery life.
Yeah, and that's all great news because you can pair it up with the other expectation that we have is that Apple's going to improve charging times and wireless charging times. We have better battery life, faster charging. Seems like a good year for for battery on Apple
If this
iPhones.
happens, I will be upgrading my iPhone 15.
Alrighty, so that was the bombshell, and now, but then there's a second one coming. I don't know if it's like a signals a good positive outcome for Samsung or not. You're gonna tell me because you are the wearables guy here, and you're wearing the Watch Ultra, and the Watch Ultra review is published on PhoneArena.com right now, and you guys can go check out the full-blown report and see if that's for you or not. But just tell me what's going on with Samsung and with the Watch Ultra, because we have a lot of, I mean, people are really interested in that product. There's a lot of controversy around it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So the Galaxy Watch Ultra, actually I've been using the Galaxy Watch 7 for more than a week, and the Galaxy Watch Ultra I took for a few days, so three or 4 days of usage of the Galaxy Watch Ultra, and I've also had both watches on on my hand for a while. Well, on my wrists, I should say.
They overlapped for a while.
They overlapped for a while. Yeah, let me start with an anecdotal report about the Galaxy Watch 7 I used, which is the regular model. I use it like every other watch for about a week, more than a week, and then it suddenly failed. The screen stopped working after I took a shower, but I do this with every watch.
Was it right after the shower?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was maybe like 15 or 20 minutes after I took a shower, and the screen went nuts, and yeah, obviously you couldn't interact with it anymore.
And that's a normal retail unit. We bought this from the store.
Yeah. So this was kind of troubling, but yeah, hopefully this is just one isolated incident. But whatever, that was the Galaxy. My Galaxy Watch 7 experience unfortunately ended sooner than I wanted to. Yeah.
And so you figured this intense lifestyle of showering each day, probably not for your regular smartwatch, so that is why you went with the Ultra, right?
Yeah. The Ultra is the one for people who shower regularly.
Okay.
If you don't shower that often, you can buy the.
Gotta keep up with you.
Yeah. So the Galaxy Watch Ultra still surviving on my wrist, still working good.
Have you showered with it?
Yes, I have. Yeah, my thoughts about this. So I would say this is a great Android smartwatch that is not for everyone.
Okay.
And specifically, it's not for me.
I can see it's not for everyone.
It's definitely not for my wrist. So I have a very small wrist, a circumference of around 16 millimeters. If you have a wrist circumference of 17 millimeters or less, this is probably not the watch you want to go to. But even if you have a larger wrist, you have to know that this Galaxy Watch Ultra is kind of a chunky boy. It weighs a lot. It's not very comfortable to sleep with. It's not uncomfortable. I can wear it. It's just a bit heavier. It's just a bit bulkier. And for everyday use, unless you really want that battery life, which is the main benefit here, I'm having a hard time recommending it to everyone. If you have a bigger wrist size, sure, it's probably gonna fit fine, gonna look good, but not for everyone.
Yeah.
And in terms of just experience, it's been good. I have no complaints here. It's fast. I like the refinement of the software here. Now, Samsung does some great things, especially the Samsung Health app. You can see all your data very neatly arranged. Everything
Right on the watch or on the phone?
on the phone. On the phone, I mean. Everything is very nicely made, I should say. Samsung is copying Apple, but I guess that's how things are. You get new features and you have to catch up. So some of the new features, like for example, the racing feature where you compare your pace, your current pace to your previous run, that's something that the Apple Watch Ultra had, or the Apple Watch in general had earlier, and now it's available on Samsung watches as well. But yeah, just in terms of visual refinement, I like the watch faces, very well made. And you might think watch faces, like everyone can make a watch face, but yeah, it matters. Samsung has done a great job here.
Not everyone can make a good watch face on a smartwatch, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that indeed is the case. And in terms of battery life, I've been getting more than 2 days, so probably slightly better than the Apple Watch Ultra. But we're seeing some reports about users having problems with battery life on the Galaxy Watch 7 series, and on the regular Galaxy Watch 7, I was also disappointed with the battery life. and it seems Samsung is aware of the issue, working on a fix. But yeah, Galaxy Watch Ultra, great watch, not for everyone.
Well, who is it for then?
Oh, it definitely is for the sporty people. If you want something that you want to run a triathlon with, you want to go really, you're gonna want to dive with it. This is a great watch to have for this type of activity.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're just a regular user who doesn't work out all that much or is not professional or obsessed about it, I think the size might be a turn off.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's there. I can see how it's just. I mean, the Apple Watch Ultra is chunky as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's also a big
This
watch.
one, even bigger.
This one is even bigger though.
Yeah.
Right. Alrighty. Yeah. So that's the story basically of our the sad ending to our Watch 7,
Yeah.
and hopefully for a new beautiful relationships shaping up here between you and the Watch Ultra.
I thought you were gonna say something about me showering.
You're gonna take a lot of showers together. I hope for a long time now. But yeah.
Yeah, one last note here. If you're a fan of sports watches, one watch you might be looking out for, which is coming soon, very exciting, the new Garmin Fenix 8. Expected to arrive in September. Rumors, leaks are beginning to appear. This is their flagship watch. It will have much longer battery life than an Apple Watch Ultra or a Galaxy Watch Ultra, probably more than a week. So absolutely an impressive watch coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
And that Garmin, by the way, is gonna cost how much?
Oh, it's gonna be expensive. The
Yeah,
Phoenix.
but I mean that one, the Watch Ultra by Samsung is $650, right?
Yeah, so we have the Galaxy Watch Ultra 650. You have the Apple Watch at $800,
Right.
and I would expect the Garmin Fenix series to start at around $800 to $900.
Okay, so
as
that's pretty much a premium smartwatch.
definitely it's their flagship watch. It's gonna be expensive. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, like the video if you liked it. Like it if you didn't like it, and subscribe to PhoneArena Show at YouTube if you want to support this channel. And for anything else, just go to PhoneArena.com. We have the full breakdown of everything we talk about here, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching. See you around.